Mellow greetings, everybody. My name is James. I am from the internet, and today we are going to be talking about flying the friendly skies. Now, I don't know about the rest of you all at home, but myself, I'm personally not a fan of having to fly places. Not because of the whole flying freaks me out thing, it's just because of the ridiculous amount of time and energy you have to sink into finding travel, procuring travel, dealing with all the bullshit around the travel, and then the travel itself. It's part of the reason why I don't do a lot of field work anymore. Frankly, it got to be too much of a grind. I would literally spend 20 hours preparing to fly and then finally getting to fly to go someplace to cover a protest, to get tear gassed by cops, to then have to deal with all the crap and get back home again. And frankly, after that whole 4 or 5 day process, the getting tear gassed by cops part was the more preferable portion. So, as somebody who doesn't fly anymore, I kind of find it odd that now, in the middle of a pandemic with everything that's going on in the world, that people are trying harder to fly more than ever. And of course, that has led to more airport and airline freakouts, especially now in the day of mask mandates and the middle of a global pandemic where everybody is crowding into a tiny little metal tube that floats through the air and breathing all over each other. It's put people on edge. So what I'm going to take a look at today real quick is just how bad it's gotten out there, since I haven't been in an airport in years, and then what the government and the industries are trying to do to tamp down on this before it becomes its own full-blown social pandemic. Here we go. So let me kick this off with the research portion of the show. Again, as somebody who hasn't flown in, I don't know, the better part of 4 years, I really don't know just how bad it's gotten firsthand. So I went to do a little research on the YouTubes, and I was kind of impressed by just how many airport freakouts, mask outrage stories, and flights completely grinding to a complete halt there have been in the last year by people who know damn well that there are mask mandates, and yet they wait until the last possible second when a plane is taxiing down the runway to rip off their mask and start spitting on people so as to prove a point. And yet, historically speaking, dealing with airports and airlines and inconveniences of flight dictated by both the industry and the government should be nothing new to American citizens. If you are older, you should literally remember having to bring your vaccine passport with you to fly. Yes, there literally was a vaccine passport. You had to show proof of vaccination against smallpox to get on a flight in the United States of America until sometime around the mid-70s. And then obviously, over the years, as the world has gotten worse and technology has gotten more advanced, security at airports and on planes has become more onerous. More on how we got there in just a second. But first, let me share with you 2 articles that came up today showing 2 different ways the federal government and the airline industry are trying to tackle the problem of airline freakouts. So first new rule the government whipped up, the TSA is extending the mask mandate through January 2022. Why are they doing this and why did they announce this now? Well, it's so all those fine patriotic family folk who want to fly back home to go see grandma for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Yeah, it's so they damn well know now that they are going to have to be wearing a mask 4 or 5 months from now when they get on a plane. So there are no surprises. This, I would assume, is trying to reduce the risk of airport freakouts in the security line or in the lobby or at the airline desk in the front portion of the airport. They are literally letting you know now that you need to come to grips with the fact that this is going to be your reality. And again, I have a little thing about this afterwards that we'll get into. The current federal requirement that Americans wear masks on public transportation will remain in effect until at least early next year, the TSA announced on Tuesday, quote, TSA will extend the directives through January 18th, 2022. The purpose of TSA's mask directive is to minimize the spread of COVID on public transportation. The announcement comes as the highly transmissible Delta variant continues to spread across the country, prompting schools, local governments, entertainment, and sports venues to begin to reintroduce mask requirements. Quote, extending the federal mask mandate for travel makes sense for the current health environment and has the travel industry's full support, U.S. Travel Association Executive Vice President of Public Affairs and Policy, Tori Emerson Barnes, said. Now, why would I go out of my way to read you that one little sentence when I'm going out of my way to be oh so succinct lately? Well, I just wanted to point out that part where it says it has the transportation and travels industry full support. And again, this is part of what I'm going to get to right after I show you the second announcement made by a federal authority regarding airline travel, literally within 24 hours of this one. The FAA proposes more than $500,000 in new fines against unruly airline passengers. You know, like the guy that they had to duct tape to his seat in a flight last week after he groped a bunch of female passengers, ripped off his mask, and started screaming to everybody else in the large metal tube that they were a bunch of sheeple. Yeah, it turns out, people, that for all of you watching these freak out videos going, yeah, look at them, they're exercising their free speech and the freedom to not wear face diapers. Yeah, guess what? Those people get fined. The FAA's announcement Thursday of more than $530,000 in fines against just 34 passengers accused of being unruly on board is the single largest announcement of federal fines since the start of a nationwide crackdown earlier this year, bringing the annual total to more than $1 million. And it's only August. Of the incidents detailed by federal investigators for the first time, nearly 2/3 involved passengers accused of violating the federal transportation-wide mask mandate, which was just extended, you know, that article that I just read you, with that thing that came out yesterday. I'm starting to get the idea that all of these federal authorities sort of coordinated this effort just to make a point to all of the conservatives who are sick of wearing face diapers because it violates their freedoms. It's kind of a shot across the bow to let you know that you are going to have to wear a mask when you demand to go fly to grandma's house in November or December for a holiday. Yeah, and that if you start shit, the federal government is going to fine you. And now to the larger point of how we ended up here. For decades, conservatives have been voting for, supporting, and cheering on legislators who have given more power to policing and to corporations. Citizens United gave all these corporations the right to donate unlimited amounts of money to politicians by deeming it to be free speech. The Hobby Lobby ruling in the Supreme Court allows for businesses to now have their own ideology and their own religion. You know, because of Bibles and bakers being forced to make dick cakes for gay weddings. Yeah, these are all things that got pushed uphill by the conservative ideology. And after 9/11, after 9/11, you know who the first people were who were out there demanding a more militant police approach, especially as it related to public transportation? You guessed it, it's the same people, the same ones who now are angry about mask mandates and face diapers. Yes, people, you are the reason why all of these transportation companies and airlines can give millions of dollars to legislators so that they vote in favor of more regulations to reduce the airline's overall liability. You are the reason that happened. Police being able to stop you anywhere in an airport or on an airplane for literally any reason, demand to see all of your paperwork, including maybe not even limited to vaccination records. Once again, you You made this happen. You wanted to back the blue and the thin blue line to the point where any politician who had a checkbook out and said the word policing and law and order, y'all were like, shit, yeah, write that check. Give that government more authority. And now the future fascist dictatorship, the authoritarian hell, the one that you were all trying to preach to me that we're going to have because you have to wear masks to stop a pandemic. Yes, once again, that hell, that vision, that future that you're seeing right now, it's one of your own creation. Ergo, you made all of this happen to yourself. I have zero fucking sympathy for you. You know why? Because I'm sitting at home. I'm not traveling. I'm going to put on a mask once a week and go to a grocery store. And other than that, I'm going to avoid the shit out of all of you, especially in all the places you want to go to enjoy your freedom, like Sturgis and sporting events and concerts. And yes, let's not forget airports and metal tubes flying 40,000 feet over the planet. This is the future y'all wanted, and now you got it. So excuse me while I stay home and majorly absent myself from the very things in society that you loathe the most, that you created, that all of us are stuck dealing with. So maybe, just maybe, the next time a politician comes crawling out of the woodwork with a cheap suit, an American lapel flag, and a couple people behind him chanting "Back the Blue," maybe y'all will hesitate at least half a second before you write them a check and give them carte blanche to pass whatever laws, rules, and regulations they so desire. So until next time, my name is James. I am from the internet and I am out. Peace.